All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the New to Retro Review podcast. And today is yet another special episode because this one is very much linked to my childhood. And I've got a special guest who probably knows more about this game than even I do in every way, shape, or form. I want you guys to say hello to WayneIsBoss.
Hi, my name is Wayne. I run a channel over on YouTube, been doing that for a decent number of years now. I specialize primarily in game retrospectives, and right now, most of my bread and butter comes from talking about Digimon games, which is not something I ever expected. So
like you say that like as like, you know, like you didn't like, did you not like expect for Digimon to blow up on your channel or something? Because like you've been a fan for a long time.
I have. So the way that dynamic works for me and for my channel is very funny and very interesting because when I was a kid, I liked Digimon. I was over at my stepbrother's house. We were just talking about Michigan earlier. I was up in Michigan, and I always hate bringing it up. I made it a rule that there's one franchise I'm never allowed to talk about in my videos. I just don't even call it out by name. But I was a big Pokemon kid, and I was over at his house, and I'm watching this show, and like all of the monsters are talking, and they're in like the real world, and it's like there's this vampire. Like I was like, what is this? And he's like, oh, this is Digimon. And he had, like, the transforming action figures, like the War Greymon. He had, he had all this stuff. And so Christopher introduced me to the concept of Digimon. I mentioned it in a video once, but he had, like, this little pinball table based on Digimon.
No kidding.
It was just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
It was a toy, but it was cute. And from there, it was like I had the VHS tapes that I watched religiously. Like I saw the first like 8 episodes of that, the episodes that first show, Angelomon, Metal Garurumon, War Greymon, like all of them for the first time, like on repeat. When I finally got to see the movie, it was like rented it from a Blockbuster, watched it, seeing Omnimon for the first time rewired my brain. And the funny thing is, when it comes to Digimon World and to the Digimon games as a whole, it's just like Digimon was something that I largely recognized from the anime, and that was like my primary focus when I was a kid. I didn't get to have a whole lot of the toys, although my mom would try to pick stuff up for me every once in a while if she saw it. Like my parents knew I liked Digimon. There just wasn't much out there for it.
Yeah.
And I missed out on a lot of stuff kind of growing up with that. So far on my channel, I think I have reviewed 8 or 9 Digimon games, and not 8. Well, I guess not counting. We'll say we're counting Time Stranger.
Yeah.
So 9 or 10, and every single video that of one of those Digimon games is me playing that game for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, I played Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory before getting into the YouTube thing. Those were the only Digimon video games I got a chance to play. And I work at a game store. I don't like calling it out by name for, privacy reasons.
Yeah.
But I got my hands on a copy of Digimon World, and it's just like, man, here's this video game that I always saw as a kid. I never got a chance to play because it was rated T and I wasn't allowed to play it. It was a source of endless fascination for me. Because no matter where you looked, and I would always, like, if a video would come across my timeline, I would watch it, but I felt like I never got a good idea of what Digimon World was. I didn't understand what the game was like and what you actually do in it. Yeah. And I always thought that it was a very straightforward thing. I thought it was a turn-based RPG, very Pokemon-like, and so, I ended up getting the game, I plugged it in, and I got it home, and the first thing I see is the little virtual pets, and I'm like, oh, that's what this is. And then I played it, and I realized very quickly that this was not a standard JRPG.
Oh, yeah.
it was a virtual pet simulator turned into an adventure game. And I had never played anything like that. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was fascinating. And I knew I needed to talk about it. And that's when I decided. I think I was in the middle of working on a couple of videos based off like the Sonic games at that point. Because at that point, you know, I was on a podcast I was on Sunset City. We were talking Sonic every week. I jumped ship before I finally did it to myself just to get out. I thought Sonic was just kind of the thing that I should be focusing on, because that's what everybody like keeps getting intake in from. And I was just like, this is going to be a vanity project. I will make this this video about this game, about this franchise that I grew up alone in, that no one else around me cared about. And it will bomb. It will not do well. It's gonna get like maybe 1,000 views max. It's sitting at close to 700,000 views now, which is insanity, because my videos don't do that. I had maybe a couple of videos that hit like 20, 30K, and that was phenomenal to me. Which obviously like still is like that. It's not to decry like how cool it is to have that many people sitting to listen to what I have to say about these things. But Digimon World shocked me, and I did not understand going into it that people would be that hungry to hear about it. But again, I think part of what helped was just how thorough I tried to be. And I try to be careful about when I talk about that, because I feel like it's very easy to come off in an arrogant way where it's just like, oh, I made the Digimon World video. Like, I made the definitive one. And no, I did not. I made the one that mattered to me. I made the one that was the video I was looking for. And I think that there are much more talented people out there who have worked on great videos that are probably better than mine. They're just not as long, I guess. And so this was my, I think, over an hour-long ramble on this PS1 game that I had finally gotten a chance to play, just finally satiating this curiosity. And after that one took off, I think it just became clear to me that I had to talk about the rest. And here we are.
Yeah. And so when did you start? When did that first video drop? Like, what do you remember how many years ago that was?
Oh, 4 or 5. I think I was in the previous house I was living in around that time. I know it was post. Yeah. It was after my Sonic 3 Knuckles video.
Oh, okay.
I was working. I think I started playing that game when I was at the old house, but I started working on that video when I had moved in here. So this room, this was the first project that I worked on, was Digimon World.
Yeah.
And so it's been a good like 4 or 5 years now. Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, because I mean, when people do retrospectives, I don't think they realize like how much work goes into just focusing on one franchise for that. I know that, it's just, you want to like try to do other things, but you're like, nah, I got to do this. I want to do this one next. Because I mean, because kind of YouTube works. If you do one video, you got to do the next one. If you take a break and do a different one, it might not work out. And you come back and some people might not be back for it. But, I mean, that's just a crazy way that things work out. I mean, retrospectives are a good way to, get people to notice your work. I feel a lot of people that do retrospectives, they really start taking off a little bit. And like I said, I mean, I've seen some Digimon World ones out there, like from time to time, and I don't know why yours just resonated with me the most. I think there was just kind of, not saying that nobody else was like passionate about it, but I really felt like, you were just giving it your all with this video. And, from a guy, like you said, like, you had humble beginnings with the animes and, keychains and all that stuff. So, it just resonated. And I was just, plus, like, I just love hearing about this game that was so difficult back in the day that so many people like will point out the dislikes, but then people will be like, but there's so much fun about this game. And it,
And I think that was one of the things I really wanted to touch on with that game. coming forward, I've played so many of these Digimon games at this point. I'm by no means an expert, but I have a lot more under my belt now. And this one right here is still so unique.
Yep.
There are a couple of games that have tried to recapture what this game was doing, and I think that they do a good job of adapting the material and the idea and bringing it into a modern light. But I feel like you know what I mean, that there's a sort of tone, there's a sense that you get from it, like a part of it's just not, there's a vibe. The way it looks, the way it sounds, this is a time capsule, a microcosm of an era, and an innocence of a franchise where this was something so purely itself. Before it was competing or being forced to compete with something else, this was unapologetically Digimon.
Yeah.
And
it was. I mean, and it wasn't even like, anime based. It's literally based off the key change, which is why anybody who discovered the anime then the game, they're just like, wait a minute, hold on. Why is this guy digivolving into this? Like, why is this his champion? He doesn't do that. Like, wait, what? And like that was the thing, because like that had happened to me. I had played the game like after, like I think like right after the anime had come out, or at least a decent chunk of it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like confused. And a buddy of mine who he mastered the game, like a few years later, he was like, yeah, no, dude, it's because this came out. This was based off the keychains that we had when we were in elementary school together. I was like, oh, that's right. Okay, I get you now. All right, that's how it is. Gotcha. Because yeah, it was. You're like, right, because it's very unique. Like from the level designs, the way that it plays, its elements, from the training, from the raising, from the discovery that certain things can only be done at certain points. It's almost very Kojima-like in a lot of ways. That there's nothing else like it, where everybody's trying to make a game that's like after the newest hot thing. It was just one of the reasons why I love the PlayStation 1 era so much, because there was so much experimentation on a system that had so much to prove, and all these companies just like making these games. And I mean, yeah, because like people are like, oh, it's just a ripoff of Pokemon. It's like Digimon came first and everything, and people forget that. And I think like when you
did it.
Yeah, Pokemon came out, I think, because the keychains technically came out, I think, in like early 90s.
It would have been 97, I think.
Was it? I swear to God, I could
be wrong. I could be wrong.
I really swear, I remember just being in like second or third grade in the early 90s, and I just remember those things coming out first. Unless I'm like, again, I'm old now, so my brain's probably faded me, but like,
yeah.
I feel that the keychains came out like a year or so before Pokemon did.
I mean, I believe it. So from what I'm seeing here, yeah, as a franchise, Digimon did exist a year prior. It looks like, from what I'm seeing here on Google, the Pokemon franchise started in 1998. The first Digimon Virtual Pet released in June of 1997. It was almost a full year prior to the existence of Pokemon. That is fun, and I'm going to use that against people now.
Yes. Well, I mean, everybody's like, and I was just always fascinated a little bit more by Digimon than don't get me wrong. My friends and I, we loved Pokemon. Played the games at lunch all the time. We got the link cables together. We were always playing it. We were collecting the cards. We didn't know how to play the card games, but we were still collecting them.
Yeah.
Because like it was. I mean, me and my friends, like when we got into Yu-Gi-Oh later on, that was more like we figured out how to play that just like that. But Pokemon was like a whole different game. We never learned how to play. We just loved collecting the cards and seeing who got what when we went to the comic book store and rip up on a pack outside and everything. It was fun. But like Digimon, I kind of felt that the dub treated fans kind of right. Like I felt like even older people could enjoy this, because like you go back and you watch Pokemon, and it's clearly for kids, and it might not have aged as well in some aspects. But Digimon, because I just rewatched like season 1 again recently, and you're like, damn, like this holds up. There's some dark stuff in here, and these characters have tons of personality to them, and and the jokes are really good.
Did you get those Blu-rays from a discotheque?
I have not yet. I do do that though before they're honestly impossible to get.
I'm waiting on Tamers. I've got the Japanese and English versions of the first 2 seasons.
Nice.
And the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to go back, especially when you're comparing some stuff. And it's you familiar with Billiam at all?
No.
So Billiam, he does a lot of really fun videos. He talks about like toys and stuff on his channel, but he's also talked extensively about Digimon on his channel as well. His video on Digimon World 1 was one of the things that kind of sparked like one of those I feel like there's still more I need to know about this game, like sort of things. And not again to besmirch his work on the video. It's just like it made me curious.
Yeah, it inspired you.
Which I think is the intent.
Yeah.
And he's doing a podcast called Nova Blast, although the fact that he did not call it Nova Cast, I think is a crime. But he's like taking some friends through the first season of the show, and they're watching it. I think they're watching the original Japanese version, but every once in a while they'll put on the American version. And you get about the reaction that you'd expect, which is still just like, there's some cringe to it. And there's a lot of interesting nepotism involved with all of that, too. There is some wild history behind the guy that, like, owns the dubbing studio that did the American version of that. There's a lot of really weird choices, and there's definitely still some censorship, and there's definitely still some, like, changes that were made. But I remember going back to rewatch some stuff because I think I was in college at the time, and I was just like, that was when I played Cyber Sleuth, and I was just like, I haven't watched Digimon in so long, and I just want to relive this. And I was watching it, and it was during the Myotismon arc, and it's just like, Izzy's parents are divorced, or no, Izzy's finding out he's adopted, like Matt and TK's parents are divorced, and like there's conflict there. Their dad is like stomping a cigarette out on the ground, and I'm just like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Pokemon didn't do this.
No, they did not.
There's a rift in the sky where like the digital world is emerging, and like and everybody's just seeing this like wild merging of these 2 different universes. The fact that it was like all of this crazy stuff happening and it wasn't secret to the adults, you know what I mean? They tried to keep it a secret until eventually it was this mystery that it just burst out of the bottle and it's out there. Everything about it was just so like nothing else was doing it like that at the time.
It's true.
Yeah,
I mean, like Pokemon played it safe in many ways. And that's not necessarily a bad thing at times, but like, you know, like you look at Digimon was literally just more mature in a lot of ways because like the creatures just didn't say their name and call it a day. Like they actually had personality. I mean, there was like, I mean, obviously, you know, you got characters like Wizardmon who really cared for Gatomon and stuff. You know, was only following Myotismon because of her and wants to like take care of her, you know, all that crazy stuff, man. Like, you know, they had real growth. Oh my God, you have that.
I got the little statue of Wizardmon and Gatomon. Because because that was one of those like, dude, the monsters were out there dying. There's an episode where Mimi is like breaking down crying, like, I don't want to keep doing this. Every time we try to fight these guys, like one of our friends dies. And that's in the American version. And I'm just like, jeez. The movie's just like, there's a virus Digimon out there that's launching nukes and aiming one at us. It was nuts.
That to me, still to this day, I'm just like, we really got away with that, didn't we? Like that somehow, like, you know, instead of just saying it's like, man, like the whole digital like system around the world's gonna crash. What are we gonna do? No, we're launching nukes.
Yeah, like, dude, like I still go back. I did get a chance because of the discotheque. I'm sorry, I'm taking us off the path of the game.
No, that's fine, dude. Again, that's like what this is about. Like, it all leads into like essentially what we're gonna talk about. So
yeah, because I got those Blu-rays of the movies. And it was, I think one of the coolest things that they did for the discotheque release was they got as much of the original English voice cast back as they could.
Yeah. To
come in and do a new English dub to do a cut of the 3 separate movies that are way more accurate to what the original Japanese versions were. absolutely worth watching, especially for the O2 movie. I love the Digimon movie to bits. That the movie based on O2 is pretty bastardized in the American version. They cut out so much. But our war game, I'm sure there are some Digimon fans that would hang me for this, but our war game, there's a part of me where it's just like my heart can't separate from the American version of it. I love the corny pop music, or like the punk rock.
Oh yeah, like they had like Less Than Jake on there, and like Len with Kids in America. Yeah.
I need like I need like everybody. When you think of the Digimon movie, you think of bare naked ladies. It's outside of that. I feel like I hate that I can't remember his name. The composer who did a lot of the work for the American version of the Digimon anime. He was also a composer for, I want to say it wasn't Conan. There was another like live action television series that he worked on heavily, and
was it Ron Wasserman?
That name sounds familiar.
Well, when you said live action, I thought okay, because he's the guy that did a lot of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers music back in the day. So I don't know if it was the same thing, because he was in a lot of things aside from Power Rangers. So
I know that he took some of his music from that other series and he reused it in Digimon. Like some of the tracks that I so heavily associate with that, like some of the most nostalgic like musical cues in my mind come from a completely different show that he just reused in Digimon. But there was definitely original work that he did too. And like there's a track that he made for O2 that shows up during the birth of Omnimon. I'm sorry that the Omnimon coming together and forming, you can make an argument for once Let's Kick It Up starts playing.
Yeah.
But up to the moment where he fires the Supreme Cannon, like the American version blows the Japanese ones out of the water. I'm sorry, it does.
And you know what? That's fine, because sometimes that happens. I mean, maybe like the Japanese music and everything wouldn't have worked as good for the American one. It's almost like when we look at old Dragon Ball Z, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Bruce Falconer score, I mean, obviously he didn't do all of it. Like, we find out all these years later, he didn't do as much as he claimed that he did. But like him and the rest of the team that he had to make that, it fits so well with that dub. And then when you hear like the Japanese, like when you watch Dragon Ball Kai and they use the Japanese audio, the Japanese music with the dub audio, it doesn't hit as hard. Music can connect, and like and a language barrier and everything can change that. If it's an English version, it's gonna they're gonna find a way to make it connect and hit with that audience. And I feel that in Digimon they did do that. They did do a lot of good things with that when it came to that movie.
There's a YouTuber, Rebel Taxi, did a video on the Digimon anime. And I love the because he describes the score in the American version as very like Back to the Future-esque, and I'm like, that is nail on the head. But there's like I still highly invite watching like the new version or the original Japanese version of those movies. Again, the O2 one is so much better than the original. But the our war game, like it's aiming for and strikes a different tone, and I think it captures it really well. In a sense, it even like captures just how dire the situation is in a much more like intimidating way. In that original version. One change I really liked was that or I guess it wasn't a change, the way that they originally had it was they figure out that Diaboromon has launched the nukes, and they don't find out until the end that one of them was aimed directly at them when it's like outside their window, because they figure that out when it launches in the American version. In the Japanese dub, seeing it like out in the harbor is how they find out that they were being targeted, and that's hilarious.
Yeah, I know, right?
But like
it's so like, again, it just feels so real. Like, I mean, they really didn't, I mean, like, as much as some things get censored, they still did a lot of amazing things to make you go, this is legit. Like, the fear is real. And because I just got done playing Dying Light the Beast, and I felt the fear of like they were able to find, because I'm 38 years old, so I'm just like, okay, like how scared am I going to get of a game like this when I've already played Dying Light 1? And it's just like the game on steroids. Running around at night from the infected is just, you can if you press triangle and hold it, you can quick look behind you and you see what's running behind you.
Yeah.
And that just makes it all the more scarier. So again, like they did, I mean, even when there's censorship in some things, if they can still make you afraid and make you feel things, and they've done their job.
And that's like, oh my god, that moment where like the timer is like down to the last couple of seconds. It's again, I apologize, I'm turning this into a thing about the Digimon movie.
No, like, it all leads into the Digimon World game, honestly, man. It's like I said, people come here, like my last episode, my friend, I brought her on because she's like the biggest Resident Evil 3 nerd that I know next to me, and like she just geeked out on so much stuff that like wasn't like core to that game. So that's what we do here.
but that's like that moment with the countdown, when they hit Diaboromon and he's slowing down, and he starts like, he looks up and Omnimon just spins around and looks at him, and you see his face, like he's like freaking out because he's trying to move and he can't, and they're just like, everything's cutting from like every single second that's counting down is just showing you everything at once. It's so intense. To this day, one of the most tense scenes I think I've ever seen in a movie. It's so well orchestrated. It's great.
I mean, yeah, because like they're showing everything in like not like rapid fire, but it's changing and it's not distracting, and they made you feel that tension that they could lose this. I mean, you know, plot armor, they're the good guys, but
right.
If a show can make you, or like a movie or a show, even if you know that the good guys are going to win, it makes you go, shit, they literally did it right down to the fucking wire. Like, I think that's like one of the reasons like why a show like Daredevil was so good when it came out. You knew Matt was going to come out on top, but the things he lost along the way, and you know, the choices he struggled with. And I mean, Charlie Cox's performance in that was like absolutely dynamite. It's like that all is great writing, and that's kind of what they did. And again, this was just for kids.
Yeah,
you know, that's the crazy thing. Like, I mean, like in the 90s, you grew up with a lot of shows that was about product placement and everything. I mean, yeah, obviously Digimon, you know, is kind of product placement too. But,
sure.
But like, you know, it's made to sell toys. But like, it's still at the end of the day, you're like, they put effort into it. I think the only other show I ever saw in the 90s that put that much effort into, you know, what they did was Beast Wars. Like I
oh man,
yeah, like I love that series so much, and I rewatch it every year, and I'm just like, this was literally top 10. I mean, I know people love and I you know, I watched G1 growing up as well. I saw the movie myself as a kid. I love that stuff. And there's some truly horrible visuals of like, you know, people like the Autobots getting wrecked in the movie and stuff, because they got to make room for the new toys they're pumping out. But
yeah,
Beast Wars, while it did kind of the same thing, it was ultra violent in a way that still holds up, like the acting in that. And again, like I think for the acting in Digimon as well. I mean, I met God, like actually I met him once like 12 years ago, and then at Kineticon I met him again like 3 years ago, because my friend was dressed as Aqua from Kingdom Hearts, and Richard Epcar is Xehanort in it, or I think that's the one he is. Oh no, Ansem. He's Ansem.
Okay, I was gonna say
he's Ansem. And so I was, you know, shooting the shit with Digimon about him and stuff, and you know, like he's like, I had so much fun with that. You know, he absolutely loved, because I mean, as a kid, I didn't realize he was both Edamon and Myotismon. Had no idea. You know,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's both those characters, and it's so great because he's, you know, like this, like, you know, like deep voiced vampire. It's like, I'm going to be king of the digital world.
Yeah,
and then like you see him as Edamon. He's like, I can't believe those Digidestin beat me again. I gotta find something easier to beat, like a cardboard box or something. It's like, I'm going to dismantle you like you just dismantled that little playmate of yours. I'm going to cancel you like a bad sitcom, Datamon. And it's just like, the fucking range, man. It's just, you know, like, and it's just like, we just had it like so well with that show. And I always kind of like really was bummed out, but at the same time not, that Digimon never caught fire in a way that Pokemon did, because so many people had that mentality that Digimon was just a knockoff. But in reality, it's honestly its own thing. I mean, yeah, like, you know, people carrying, but like they only get one partner, you know, instead of like, you know, 6 that you can only hold, and magically the ball transports back to Professor Oak's place. But, you know, I always thought that, you know, with Digimon, like the voice acting was really good. And, you know, now that you say, I didn't know that they redubbed the more like intense stuff and everything, so I definitely want to go out and get that now.
It's phenomenal. You get the best of 3 worlds because it gives you all 3 original cuts, the 3 new cuts where it's like same orchestration and pacing and storyline of everything, but with an English voice cast, and it's as much of the originals that they could get back.
Right.
And the theatrical release.
Yes.
All of the licensed music intact, of course.
Discotheque is doing God's work, man. Like the stuff they keep pumping out, you're just like, wait, what? They're releasing what?
It's insanity. Obviously Digimon is what put them on my radar, and like I need them to get to Tamers. I'm interested because like what was it? Fusion, the 4th season is the one I have not seen.
I never saw that one either.
And after playing the GBA games, the Battle Spirit games of all things, make me want to watch it. Because I'm like, now that I know a little bit more about it, I'm just like, this actually sounds legitimately interesting. And I think a lot of people were turned off. 1, because they were getting older, and 2, because it was just like, oh, they're turning into Digimon this time? That's weird. And I read up on it, and apparently what it is that it's not so much them turning into Digimon. They're essentially like letting themselves be a host to an ancient Digimon spirit that is fighting alongside them. So it is still like a separate entity. They're just like fusing with it to become one. And I'm just like, it's not that far off from what the main principle of Digimon's always been.
It's true. You're not wrong. Not wrong at all.
And it's apparently they play with some really fun ideas of just like like different like territorial conflicts and stuff. Like I don't know, it sounds fascinating. I want to watch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's the thing, you know. I think it was because, you know, early years of the internet and everything, it's still kind of spread out there, and a lot of people were kind of saying the same thing. It's like, oh, it's not as good, but I think it's one of those things where enough time has gone by that people realize, oh, actually, no, this is pretty good. Kind of like, we just came up on the 21st anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, so you know that show's allowed to drink now. And people are actually like coming around to that show finally, and everybody's just like, yeah, we see this what we try to tell you for years. And it's not like, you know, like, and I always tell people, it's like, y'all should watch it, because Yu-Gi-Oh had its ending. It went from full beginning to end, and we're good. So now the new series is just as good. And obviously it didn't get that final season dub because they went directly into doing 5Ds, and also that last season was pretty dark, so I think it would have been very hard for them to have done a lot of stuff. I think they would have had to censor some stuff, and GX was censored a lot, but yeah, I mean, and it's like you said, people got older, people weren't as like interested in it, and I mean, I don't know, like I feel that like I feel like Pokemon maybe did a little, like, came out a little bit faster. I feel there weren't as many episodes in the seasons, because Digimon, I feel like, I think people forget how long season 1 the first series is. It's like, what was it, like 60 episodes, I think?
That 58, I think.
Okay,
that sounds about right.
But it's crazy because like you think of that show being 58 episodes, and you get a whole series out of it that was amazing from essentially start to finish. All the like little mini arcs from like File Island, the continent with Edamon, and the battles with Myotismon, bringing the team back together, and then going to the real world, and then Dark Masters, which I fucking love that arc so goddamn much. It's all so good, and it's like nowadays it's just like, hey, One Punch Man season 3 is coming out. Remember that show that began back in like 2009?
Yeah.
And it's like that's like my problem with modern anime, is that it just takes too long to come out at this point.
I do kind of like the conclusion they came up with for Demon Slayer, where they were just like, screw it, we're just doing movies. We're just finishing this out with like 3 giant movies.
Yeah. Did you get to see that in the theater?
No, I'm behind. So I don't know what happened. I saw the first season of Demon Slayer. I think I binged it in like a day. And I was just like, this is solid. This is very good. I went to the theaters to see Mugen Train, and I cried like twice.
Oh, we all did. We all did.
Yeah. And it affected me deeply, and I really enjoyed that movie. I haven't seen a single thing since, and I don't know why. I think I got busy.
No,
but,
you were
like,
traumatized.
It was like it was like that and like one other show that I have very mixed feelings about now. Just that I remember seeing what was it, the first season of Made in Abyss as it was coming out, and I tell people all the time I got to the last episode of that and I did not cry. I wept at the last episode of that. And now it's a show that I'm not super comfortable going back to because now I've seen more of the manga, then I've seen more of the author, and I've seen kind of where the show goes, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm down for this anymore. I think I've seen my piece, and I enjoyed it, and I think that's good enough.
I will say definitely pick up Demon Slayer again because the next arc of Demon Slayer, it's a little slow at the beginning, but it's like a comfortable slow, especially after like what you go through with Mugen Train. So it's kind of like a nice like lull into that, and then the last half of that season, because I saw that in theaters. Or wait, no, was that one in theaters? No, I didn't see that. I watched it with my friends. And then when the third season about the Demon Swordsman Village came out, they had the final episode of the Red Light District that they had, and that fight on the big screen was unreal. Like I was like, man, I am glad I don't have like any like seizure issues or anything like that, because this movie is like fireworks on crack.
I've heard stories.
Oh, it's so incredibly crazy, like how they did it. But like, you know, like the new movie that came out, it was good. I mean, I'm glad that it's breaking all these records and stuff, but it is kind of crappy. We got to wait until like what was it, like 20? Oh wait, no, it comes out 2000. Oh, I think it comes out late next year, and then in 2000. Or was it 2029? The final part comes out.
I thought I saw somewhere 2027, so I think that the movies might be about 2 years apart.
Oh, okay. It's still a long time to wait, but again, like, yeah, I think that's why we had the animes, you know, when we were younger, a little bit easier, because it was like, yeah, this is great. This is, you know, like we all only had to wait like essentially a year for everything. I mean, then you got like other great animes out there, but you know, Digimon just had that for like those first 2 seasons were just friggin' solid for a lot of the ways. I mean, obviously there was things that they started that they didn't finish in there because of budgets and all that stuff, like that whole Dark Ocean thing, which I really wish they did more. And then that one with that one creature that you saw coming out of the ocean that they never did anything with either.
Because like Kari's psychic powers and they exist.
They're there for some reason.
I would kill for a theatrical re-release of the Digimon movie. Do the original like theatrical American cut. Come on, people will go there and they will have a ball. That's like I went with a friend earlier this week. The theatrical re-release of Perfect Blue, the 4K remaster of that.
Really?
Brother, that is a hard movie to sit through. Like in a good way. That is a difficult movie to watch. That is incredibly disturbing, but it was a solid experience. And it's just like, I remember a couple of years back, they had like Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell. Some friends and I went to go see Gurren Lagann in theaters. Like, oh my God, where is Digimon? I remember seeing a poster for that at a Taco Bell as a kid, was how I discovered there even was going to be a Digimon movie. And I was so excited, and I never got to see it in theaters. I rented that for Blockbuster, is how I saw it for the first time.
I never got to see it, unfortunately, myself in theaters either. My buddy Josh, what was it? I went over to his house across the street, and we watched it because he had rented it, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I got the Digimon movie." I was like, "Wait, it's out?" He's like, "Yeah." Like I went to go rent a video game, and I was following my dad through like the sections and everything, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, you know, so like he went and got it, and I was like, "Dude, this is so awesome." It was again like one of those great moments just to like have as a child, even if you didn't get to see it in theaters. I mean, I would have loved to have seen that in theaters. I mean, I saw the first Pokemon movie in theaters, which was like a big deal back then too. Like that was huge to see Pokemon on the big screen, even though it like was a well, actually, I mean, it is. I think it is. I think that is actually canon to the series, if I remember correctly, because like they all get their mind wiped at the end. But Mewtwo does show up, I think, in like another film or another show.
He shows up in the anime. I think that there was a throwaway episode of the anime where they kind of establish like Mewtwo in Giovanna's facility and him actually breaking out.
Team Rocket comes and discovers him, and then he gets on the plane and everything, and they saw Mewtwo taking off and the armor breaking off of him.
I remember that blowing my mind as a kid because I was just like, oh, it's actually correlating with the movie.
Yeah.
That's the Digimon movie is just like, I would love to see. That's like one of the things I'm missing is like, I think Pokemon and the Digimon movie I both had to catch VHS, but I did see the second and third Pokemon movies in theaters.
Right. Yeah. I only saw the first one in theaters. I saw the other ones on VHS and everything back then. I mean, honestly, like if hell, it's one of those things where you got to do it yourself. If they're not gonna friggin' re-release the Digimon movie and stuff, you just go to a local theater and get a bunch of people together, rent out a theater and stuff, and just do that. You know,
I need that, and I need to see Pacific Rim in IMAX just one more time before I die. Like
that would be like mind blowing again. Like seeing something like that on the big screen.
Yeah,
I just wish they didn't screw that series up so bad. But you know, like that first movie's really good.
I remember the first season of the Netflix series was okay. I never saw the second season. I was so sad because I love that first movie to pieces. It is the dumbest movie to have as your favorite movie, but it is my favorite movie, the Pacific Rim. But like when they were showing the second one was ramping up, I got so psyched, and I was like my girlfriend at the time and like my best friend, I got us like IMAX 3D. I was like, we're seeing this opening day, and the credits are rolling, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't think I liked that.
I think we've all had a movie in our life where we sat there after and we're just, I mean, mine's like the Krusty the Clown thing where he's like, what the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Yeah.
I think for me, that was the last Indiana Jones movie. Like I feared it was going to be bad, but I still went in with an open mind. And I was like, man, I thought Crystal Skull was bad, but this is worse.
I think I had so many conflicted feelings about that one because I was just like, for the most part, I was kind of bored. and then there was that moment where they're in the plane, and Indiana Jones is just like, he didn't know about like tectonic plates like moving and stuff, and we're going to the wrong time period, and my brain woke up for a second, and I was just like, hang on, that's fun. And it's just like, I'm like, wait, we've got time traveling Nazis in a World War II plane going to the Roman Empire, like getting like bombarded by spears. And I'm like, for a second, I was having a good time. And I liked the little thing with him and Miriam a little bit. I think that's the only thing I got out of the whole movie. I think outside of that, it was just like,
well, yeah, I mean, like things got like reset and everything, you know, and he got that happy ending and stuff, you know.
What a missed opportunity for them to start the movie with him ignoring the moon landing.
Yeah.
And it just completely letting history in the making passing him by. And for him to almost trap himself in a decade in the past, and they don't bookend it with that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you miss that opportunity that you created?
Like I said, I think a lot of our franchises that get to come back, unfortunately, at least like American franchises, aren't like really handled as well. I mean, like you look at things like the King of the Hill reboot and stuff, that was done very well. A lot of things Digimon wise have done very well. Like, you know, if you look at like how like the Digimon, you know, it's I think Digimon Tri was a little weak at times, and there was some things that I was kind of like meh about, but I was still kind of feeling what I felt when I watched those first two seasons. I was like, oh, okay, they're handling it the best they can, I guess, you know.
I feel like with Tri, I feel like Tri, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like a lot of the hate that it's given is not completely unwarranted. And there are definitely things about it where I'm just like, I think the thing I hate the most is the young Jedi clone just getting creepy with the high school girls, and I'm just like, that's such a generic like anime villain thing to do. That left such a bad taste in my mouth. And I think an entire movie of the coolest Digimon in existence, or Dinamon, just sitting there erasing existence around it, and they spend the entire movie huddled in a corner saying, "We should do something about this."
Yeah.
I
I mean, like I said, yeah, it had its issues,
Yeah.
but it's just there was still a lot of love. Like you could see that these people like cared about it for the most part. Like they tried.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I feel like if you're approaching it with sincerity, it's like that and Kazuna Last Evolution. I feel like if you're kind of meeting it where it's at, I do think that it is an unnecessary follow-up and it does muddy a lot of the themes of the larger picture, including Kazuna. But I feel like I still enjoyed watching them. I'm still glad that I got a chance to see them. Kazuna especially, like, the last scene of that movie wrecked me. Like it doesn't matter if it was earned or not, it still hurt. And it's like Hercules Kabuterimon sacrificing himself with the whole Digimon virus thing.
Yep.
The fact that everyone got mega evolutions in Tri, I feel like is something that's underappreciated about those movies.
The thing that everybody wanted for years and like nobody talked about it when it finally happened. I'm just like, War Greymon and Metal Garurumon, that's all cool and everything like that. But, can we see some of the others for like the rest of the team? I mean,
I was giddy seeing Zudomon, dude. Like,
right?
Come on. Sorry, Vikemon. I'm thinking of Vikemon. It's like getting to actually see that stuff for the first time. That's the fun thing, though, right? It's and I feel like this is something, especially when we're talking about the Digimon video games. Is sorry to try to not to take the helm too much on it, but to bring it back a little bit. Is the Digimon video games, at least from what I've played, there's so many of them that have so many problems.
Yeah.
2 and 4 come to mind. But the fans of those games are the people that make me the happiest in the comments. Because they will always come into it and be like, yeah, you put it in the right words. I still love it. And my response is always, and I can see why. There's always something there. There's a magic to it, Even I think Digimon World 4 is a bad video game. I like it. I shouldn't, but I actually had fun playing that. Digimon World 2 is a fascinating experience. I think it's bad. But it's so interesting, and I don't think it's kind of a Metroid Other M situation, where it's just like, despite all of its problems, there is a framework here that the rest of the series built off of that I don't think we give enough credit to. I think that there is legitimately stuff in the later, like in Metroid Dread, which happy 4-year anniversary as of this recording.
Jeez, man. 4 years.
So much of Metroid Dread and Samus Returns would not be the way that it would be if it wasn't for the template that Other M put together.
It's true. Other M gets a lot of crap, but people forget that Team Ninja worked on that, and those guys, they know games. Maybe it wasn't the game for them to do. Yeah. But what it gave for the rest of the series, you can't deny it.
And and it's especially for people like you and me, for fans of a franchise like this. Who are we to look at this this product, this thing that we love, and not also appreciate the care mistakes we made along the way?
Yeah. I mean, every franchise has that. I mean, like I said, everybody knows me for Resident Evil and stuff, and people are like, oh, so you must hate Resident Evil 0 as much as everybody else. It's like, I mean, I got my issues with it, don't get me wrong, but I still think that there's so much in that game that is like, it is a beautiful looking game. The idea of like 2-player, like 2 characters at once is a first for the series, even though the original Resident Evil, there's beta footage of it. They did try to get 2 characters on one screen in the original Resident Evil 1, but it wasn't going to work for them at the time. And there was also at one point, it was going to be first person. So things from those building blocks got added later. And like I said, 0 has its problems, but there is just kind of a lot of beautiful moments in 0 where, the plot doesn't make a lot of sense. Some of the things that you see in it don't add up to certain other things in other games, but ultimately there's a lot of emphasis on what Resident Evil is in that game. And, like I said, I'll still call out the bad stuff. Don't get me wrong. That's what we do as people on YouTube, I think a lot of people are just super critically negative because they know that like brings in the views for a lot of stuff. If you're like rampaging on a game and like harping on like why, like, you know, like not like an Angry Joe, because Angry Joe plays a character and stuff like that. But there's there's people who like will like legit make videos and just shit on it, and I see it and I'm like, how the hell does this have 300,000 views? Oh, that's why. The guy's just ranting and he's not connecting anything. I mean, like, I'm not as unhinged in my reviews, but like I always try to give the good and the bad and try to see like why certain games are very well beloved. Unless it's Call of Duty, then you're just like, no, Activision's just money hungry and screwing it. Like my ex, she loved Call of Duty so much, but she was disgusted by what the series became.
Yeah,
and everything. So like, you know, I get that. But you know, I mean, like, yeah, like I mean, like with Digimon World 1, like we're talking about today, like that game had a lot of issues, but because it was unlike anything really that anybody had ever played, and you could see that love from the game just being designed like it was, there's just so much to do. I mean, like what was your first impressions really of the game when you finally, because like I said, I was playing it not long after it came out at one point. I think that's if I'm remembering correctly, but like you were like, you said like 4 years ago for you. So
yeah, I would say 5 years ago is probably when I popped it in and actually tried playing it for the first time.
So like, what was that experience like going back to like that like time? Because I always see the PS1 as a very experimental but time capsule like system for a lot of people.
PS1 is a console that is incredibly near and dear to my heart.
Hell yeah.
I did not have one growing up. I had a PS2. I had a PS2, but we didn't have all the money in the world, so a lot of the games that I had were for the PS1. And sometimes it's the weird little oddball things. I think that's the stuff that matters the most, right?
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody earlier today. One of my favorite games for the PlayStation 2 is one that people don't talk about enough. Activision Anthology is one of the best collection video games I've ever played. It is nothing but 2600 games. It's Atari 2600. The OST is just a bunch of licensed 80s music. But you go in, you play all these Atari games, you're unlocking like patches, box art, the commercials that played on TV, advertising them. That game made me appreciate retro. And I've got a box copy of Laser Blast for the 2600 somewhere. Like, this stuff is things I grew up with.
Yeah.
Pro Pinball Fantastic Journey. I use the music from that in my videos all the dang time. That's like one of my favorite games on the PS1. These little things, and it's like you said earlier, it's part of the reason why I love and not only like the PlayStation, but also the Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn. The rule book wasn't written yet. And the greatest things that you would find were being done by people who didn't know that they were doing something they weren't supposed to. Yeah. That's how you get something special. I would love to get into drink mixing. It's a little bit of something I'm interested in. I don't drink a lot. I'm a simple man. You pour me a glass of whiskey and I'm happy. But I would love to experiment with it because I'm interested in the mixology. And the idea behind that, I'm sure a lot of bartenders will tell you, is it's experimenting and it's trying things that shouldn't work together, but sometimes just do. And you don't get that unless you try again. And that's what this game is all about. It is about just like trying things. It is about like going in and actually experimenting. And one thing that I talked about in my review of the game that I think a couple of people took the wrong way was me saying that I don't expect everyone to go into it blind, but I would welcome people to try it blind first, especially when you're going through your first couple of Digimon and everything like that. When you don't know what you're doing, there are amazing online resources that will help you with like actually being able to go after specific stats and stuff to obtain certain Digivolutions, and I think that's incredibly helpful, especially when you're getting into the later game when you need stronger Digimon to actually take on certain challenges. Because if you're throwing yourself at the brick wall, like trying to do that blind, you hate yourself. But it is worth it to experience firsthand, at least when you begin, what it's like to just try and to make a mistake. Get a Numamon. Who cares? You need that experience. And I think that there were some people that took me saying it, and perhaps I articulated myself poorly in the review, as me saying that there was no point in trying to do it blind, or that was that wasn't the way to play it anymore. And what I meant was, I think both versions are valid. I just think that using a guide later on is just more realistic.
Yeah. Oh, totally. You have to. I mean,
Yeah.
What do you call it there? Because I have the guide now. I mean, well, I got that. I'm not sure how many years ago I bought it. It's probably been over a decade. I know that much. And even that guide, it doesn't really help you that much. People have broken down what I guess works and throws it on. They throw it on the internet, and like you said, there's guides to help you get through it. Because I'm gonna say right now, I've never beaten the game. I have never beaten it but I've gotten really far in it. But man, the grind was real. Like I remember just writing out like what worked, what I thought worked, what didn't work. I was coming across Digimon in certain places. I mean, going through things like the Ice Palace and everything, and Factory Town. Everything that you just came across, trying to help Leomon with his search that ultimately doesn't go anywhere. It just like that because it's like you said. That was the beauty of that game, was that there was no like way. You kind of just encountered everything, and it was like if you're going to the coast at one point and it's a certain time of day, Koalamon shows up with the other and makes the bridge for you that you go over to the jungle area and stuff. And it's just like, oh, okay. And if you fail, you're just like, all right, okay, well, I'll go back. Oh wait, they're not here. What? And there's certain time like Digimon that come out at night, during the day, and I think that's just like what was a challenge. Plus, like the fact that your Digimon had to crap so much and everything, you just had to like spend all your bits to make sure you had porta potties on you.
Yeah.
But like we just battle for bits and just save and save and save and just do what you could, because those porta potties were a life. Unless you were trying to get a Numamon for the Monzimon later on and everything, which is what I always did. And it is perfect because you don't have to. Because you don't have to beat Toy Town. You can literally just keep cheesing the game for Monzimon in some ways.
You don't even technically have to get Monzimon to beat the game. I don't believe.
Yeah. Oh no, but you can go back and get, because like if you restore Toy Town, you don't get him anymore. There'll never be a suit there again.
Right.
So it's always one of those things. It's like, well, I can make a lot of mistakes with this guy, but I can also clear out a lot of the harder challenges with this guy, and then start training my guys later on and upgrading my gym. And I always thought like that was just some of the coolest stuff that, you really had to grind. But for whatever reason, it was a game that just worked in that aspect. You got frustrated, but you kept playing. And a lot of games, I don't think have that ability in especially in modern era, or even future Digimon games, really. Because I mean, we know how 2 came out in a lot of ways and stuff, but.
Yeah. 2 is interesting.
2 is very interesting, but like you play this game. I mean, like, did you ever 100% it? I know you've beaten it, but
I've beaten it. I always thought it would be fun to try to go back and do a couple of videos that were me trying to tackle post game stuff that I didn't get to when reviewing the game the first time. I have yet to go in and beat Digitamamon. I have also I don't know if you know about this, there is a second encounter with Machine Dramon.
Yep.
And I need to do that before I eventually tackle Next Order, because I think that they are directly connected to each other.
I think you're right. I think I remember my friend telling me this, because she's a big Digimon fan. She like cosplays from it and everything like that, and she's actually streaming the new game on both Twitch and YouTube right now and everything. She's been having a blast with it.
We might have a mutual friend here.
Is it Latina Otaku?
Oh, okay. So I'm familiar, but we're not acquainted.
Yep.
I think we've chatted once or twice before, but yeah, she seems cool.
Oh no, she's chill. I think we've known each other for like, we've been doing photos together, like shooting and everything at conventions for like 7-8 years now, I think. And
that's awesome.
She's just like super knowledgeable of the series. She loves it. She got that the 25th anniversary Digivice and everything. I would love to get one of those, but I don't really want to drop $300. You have it, don't you? Yeah, he's got it. Of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually ordered the D2, the Ken one that's out there right now.
I ordered the Pale Dramon one.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was just like that like navy green with the blue.
Green's my favorite color, but I love black as well. I mean, clearly, like
orange is mine. So
you got lucky. See, I would have loved the green one. Actually, I think it's over here. I have moved so much stuff around on my desk. It's like funny. I can't even find it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's actually right next. It's right next to the damn game. I didn't even realize it. I got like a. This was like a.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this was like a resin cast one or something like that. Like it was. I saw it on Etsy, and I was like, oh, cool. I mean, yeah, it's not the real thing because I know somewhere in this house my original Digivices from back in the day when they started doing the show and they started pumping out the actual Digivices. I know it's somewhere in this house still. I had a red one. I think I had a green one. I think there was one. I know I had the D2 with that little like flip computer that they had with the
the Digi Terminal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that too. But yeah, so okay, like when we talk about this game and everything like that, we talk about the difficulty of it, and it is difficult, but you know, like what was essentially the hardest Digimon for you to like Digivolve into, like the one that you were going for?
Metal Greymon.
Yep.
That was, he's on the box. I say it in the video, but like favorite color's orange. And, you know, growing up with the anime, I always associated with Metal Greymon with, you know, the orange look.
Yep.
The blue one is so cool. The Virus Metal Greymon is iconic.
It is.
That's have you seen the Japanese box art for this game?
I don't think so.
Oh. It is absurd. It is the coolest thing I have ever seen. Kenji Watanabe penned it.
Really?
Yeah. And at least I believe it was Kenji Watanabe. Is 100% his style, but it is some of the coolest box art I think I've ever seen in my life.
Oh damn! Oh, see, I just looked it up. I saw it at the same time. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That is dope.
I was lucky enough. Like even the disc just goes so hard, dude.
I've seen that art in the official guide. Like the little, like how he's like right behind the gray or in front of the Greymon.
Yeah. What's great too is like some of the earliest artwork of this, because I'm sure you know, but this was not the first Digimon video game. I said it was in my video. I was wrong. The first Digimon video game was Japan exclusive, and it was on the Sega Saturn.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've got a copy of it over there, but that's I wanted to do a video about it at some point, but I have not been able to find a like an English translation for the game.
Really? No one's translated it. I mean, didn't like that PSP game or something like that get a translation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's so weird. I mean, maybe it's because emulation for Sega Saturn's kind of tough. Maybe that could be it.
It's wonky. I would be very happy. I've got a Saturn. I've got a Kai cartridge. I would love if somebody can just like, if I can load up a translation on there and just actually play on my Saturn. Like, I'm sure that's possible. Although we did have one night where my roommate, she has an old Slayers game for the Saturn that was Japan exclusive. And we were booting it up just so she could see what it was like, and we just had Google Translate, and just every frame we were just putting it up and just like try to use Google Lens to translate it frame by frame. That was a blast. I don't want to have to do that for the original Digimon game, but if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took us off topic again.
No.
Anyway.
No, like that's like, I mean, like again, like it's all about like these are things that you don't probably get to talk about that much in your videos, because videos are a little bit more structured, which is why we do these things here. And I feel that, you know, there was a lot of problems with that game with Digivolutions and stuff, and learning how to like keep your guys happy and keep their weight down in a certain way. I mean, like it was tough. And then like some of those missions, like when you had to dig out the tunnel with you know, with the dirt, bring it outside.
I was laughing the entire time I was doing that.
I hate that thing so damn much, but yet I can still play it. Like, even though I know that part's coming, I'm like, it's worth it. Let's go.
I think I started that quest, and then I saw that they expect like how they expected you to keep doing it, and then I just started cracking up, and I was just going back and forth. I love jank. That's a part of the appeal for me with a lot of this stuff is I love old video game. It's why I only review these things on original hardware.
Yeah.
I do not use emulators for these if I can help it. And it's not for some misplaced sense of some kind of superiority complex, like I played this the right way. It's because I think it's fun, and it's there's a charm to it, but it's also
It
just
is. Yeah.
because I missed out on this stuff growing up, and because I want to try to capture. I'm reviewing these games in a retrospective where I'm meeting these games where they were at, and I feel like that's the only fair way to do it.
It's true. I mean, it's so real. I mean, you got a CRT yourself, so
I bought that Trinitron off of a friend, and
hell yeah.
Oh my god, I play my Dreamcast as much as I play my PS5 these days. Like, nothing beats like throwing up I could probably think of a better example than Echo the Dolphin, but Echo the Dolphin looks good on that. But it's like when I'm tackling these things, I want to be able to tell you like, hey, here's the consequences of the decisions that they made for this. My Digimon World 3 review ends with me going on a tangent about how I went. Okay, so you've seen it. You know where that goes. Where I'm talking about, like, everyone wanted me to talk about the European version, so I moved heaven and earth to make sure that I could actually play the European version on original hardware and capture it. And then I got to the post-game content in that. There's a part of me that regrets that I didn't talk more about the optional bosses that are underground.
Yep.
Because some of those encounters are cool. Not worth the extra 100 hours I poured into that. Because Jesus Christ, fuck the post game for Digimon World 3. I like that game a lot. I'm never touching the post game again. I think I'll stick with the broken American version where the counter crest is dialed to 100. No thanks. But like with it's stuff like that. But it's also like there are qualities that you don't get if you're fast forwarding and if you're taking shortcuts. And I think that I caught on early on that to answer your earlier question, my first impression of this game was I got in there and it's just like it's asking you questions about like hey, like, do you have a Digivice, you know, yada yada, and it dictates who your partner is going to be.
Yep.
And you get a Gabumon or an Agumon, and you probably don't know what you're doing at first, and that's awesome. It helped that like they had done a rerun of the original style like D1 Digivices around that time. You could still go on Amazon and buy them. I've got friends that will just buy me random Digivices, and it just cheers me up every time I see it.
Hell yeah.
Because like, you know, they'll find these things for like $12 on Amazon, but like the joy that I feel that they're just like, oh, it's a Digimon thing. Wayne likes Digimon. Although I'm starting to sucker people in. Time Stranger has opened the floodgates. I have gotten it's like my friend Booker didn't think I'd ever get her interested in this stuff. She's playing it now, and that makes me so happy. But it's like I had messed around with the Digivices around that time, and so I was getting reacquainted with how they worked because it had been a while, and that was around the time that I picked up Digimon World 1. And, you know, I did not handle my Agumon well. And he ended up dying. And then I saw this little sucker pop out of an egg. And I knew that I was going to fall in love with this game.
Yep.
There's something about, and it's the collection of every element. It is the sum of its parts, you know? The audio quality being as crunchy and as unique as it is, I love the little noises that Digimon make in this game.
Right?
It's so cute. It's so adorable. And it's like the crunchy little, like, I love that he still speaks in Japanese. Like, all of his audio clips are him still saying yata, or just like talking to his little critters and everything. And it's so it's almost untouched in certain aspects. The English translation is so bad. um
Yeah, that thing's rough. Like, you see, even someone like me who can't spell that well,
yeah.
it's bad if I can see the spelling errors. Okay, I'm just like, it's bad if I do, man. Like, I'll tell you that much. I'm not much for reading and stuff. So
Yeah.
you see those, like, that spelling error and stuff, or like those weird spacings and how it's, my Jesus Christ.
and it was just like this collection of things. Oh, the music.
Oh my God.
I think one of the things where I decided that not only did I like what I was playing, I needed to talk about the game. And I was so glad I got a chance to capture it in the video itself, was being on an adventure, a Digimon dying of old age, and you're running around with this beast. It is this like towering thing that you've worked so hard to create. And you're going out there and you're cleaning house and you're wrecking stuff. And suddenly it's just time. It is just time. And I don't know if it was just a lucky timing on my part, but it felt like the perfect way to do it was, I always got the night version of the File City theme whenever it would go back to the town.
Yep.
And then new Digitama would hatch. It is one of the most adorable little pieces of music I've ever heard come out of the PS1. And it captures a sense of innocence so well. And I think that it was the perfect way to capture. It's just like, it should upset you. This is not something that video games do, and there's a good reason for that. It should make you angry that this thing that you worked so hard towards just dies, and you just have to stop what you were doing and start over. But there's something about that mix of elements that comes together in such a way that it feels natural to this world. We were talking about the movie and the plot armor. Nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna be fine. It doesn't matter if you believe that the characters believe this is it. And for the game to sell you on, this is just how the cycle of life operates within this little digital world. This is just how things are. Yeah. Giant hunks of meat are growing out of the dirt. There's just giant telephone poles and crap just like sprouting out of mountains.
There's plugs in the grass, like like the sockets for plugs and everything.
Yeah.
Random porta potties, like just out in the middle of nowhere and stuff. It's incredible in that way.
Yeah. And you believe that's how that works. And I think a part of it for me, and part of why it like works so well, is like the pre-rendered environments for the whole game.
Yep.
It's a lost art. I want that to be back. There's this one, oh my God, there's this one game that captures it in a new way, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it was Apple Arcade exclusive. It was done by Square. It's a recent one. Apple Arcade exclusive, some like old heads from the Final Fantasy team, like they got tenure, worked on this thing, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, but I think it's getting a port to newer consoles now.
Ooh.
And my guy, it's not pre-rendered environments, they are hand-made. They made dioramas. They actually think like train set style. They made the environments and rendered them into the game. If they ever dare to do a remake of the original Digimon world, I would have it no other way than for it to be done like that.
Oh my God! Now I want to play this thing because I love hand drawn stuff. I love pixel art in games because a lot of people don't know. I did last year. I did a video on the 30th anniversary of the PlayStation in Japan. I could have released it this year, but I really wanted to end the year with a bang.
Yeah.
And I talked about a lot of things people don't know, and Sony actually didn't want sprite-based stuff. It was all polygons they wanted. So
sure.
you look at a lot of the games like Mega Man X4, like it still looks good to this day. It's crazy. And then you look at some of the 3D stuff and the pre-rendered stuff, it don't hold up that well. But again, it's an art style. And like you said, it's a lost art, because I come from the world of Resident Evil, and those first 3 games, and plus technically Gun Survivor, everything, because it reuses a lot of graphics from the previous entries, because it was technically the last PS1 Resident Evil game. All that stuff is just so beautiful to look at to this day. You're just like, wow, this is what this stood for back then. And the fact that it didn't hold up in a lot of ways, because like Digimon World's the same way. Like, it doesn't look good in some aspects, but you just kind of like stand there and marvel in the area that you're in. Again, the music, as you pointed out earlier, is phenomenal. Like that Gear Savannah is fucking phenomenal. I love, like, you feel like you're on an adventure. The jungle area, like, you literally,
God.
That is literally, it almost kind of reminded me of like the David Wise's work with Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, that is a perfect example, actually.
Yes, you get it. You get it. You know. And, and like you like, you're not just in the jungle, you're in it. You're hearing all the sounds. I mean, you like, I think I remember correctly. Did they have birds chirping in that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's even like bugs and stuff. And if you look up like the soundtrack, that's mixed in. I'm not sure if you saw on Twitter a little bit ago. I want to say this was maybe a few weeks ago. Someone brought it up to the original composer. Like, they found their profile on Twitter, and they mentioned like the Digimon World soundtrack to them, and there was a flood of people that came in retweeting it and quoting on it, and everybody just talking about how much they loved that soundtrack, how nostalgic they were for that soundtrack. And this person is just like, oh my god, I didn't think anybody remembered that one.
It's so good.
And they're just like, they had no idea anybody liked it, let alone loved it. And it's like, so one, it was heartwarming just to see like that much positivity just being put towards that person.
Yeah.
But it's just like, how weird is it that it's just like this weird little corner that this franchise has been in, where it's popular, but it's like, this year, for whatever reason, this is the year when it just hit something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%. Because like that, I mean, I think if the game didn't have the music, it wouldn't be as legendary as it is. And I
agree.
I swear to God, if they make a freaking vinyl record of it, I am buying that shit. I will. I mean, like I said, I love how I said this when I was streaming Final Fantasy Tactics a couple days ago, and then literally the next day, people are tagging me. They're like, dude, Play Asia's got the soundtrack. I'm like, get the fuck out. Holy shit. And it was like $32 for like the whole like Final Fantasy Tactics thing for vinyl. And I'm like, sold. I bought it like you wouldn't believe. And I would do the same thing for Digimon World.
Never say never. Never say never. There was one game, one of my favorite videos I've ever made. Not to plug myself too much, but one of my favorite videos I ever got to make on my channel was just an off-the-wall game for the PS1 that I sort of stumbled across. Japan exclusive game called Kaze no Nota. It is a hot... I think I made it when I was working on my Sonic 3 and Knuckles video, so this was before I did Digimon. It is a hot air balloon flight simulator from Arctic, the A-Train guys. It sounds like it shouldn't be a video game. It sounds like that's a thing that should not work. Exclusive to Japan. I got my hands on a copy because I was listening to just a playlist of like just like chill like PS1 music, and there's a track from it that I just kind of like latched onto. I was just like, yo, what is that? And then I got my hands on it and I made a whole video about it because I was just like, this game is actually kind of awesome. And it's again, shouldn't work. It shouldn't be interesting. It is. And the soundtrack was one of my favorite things about it. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. I love this OST. It's one of my favorites from the PS1. And it's like, it's very retro wave. We would see it as vaporwave nowadays, but
Yeah.
it predates that. And God, it's so good. Highly recommend checking that soundtrack out. A little bit after I made that video, out of nowhere, 20, 30 years after this game came out, this company gets the rights to the music license and reissues it. I think they put it on Spotify, and then they came out with a CD and a vinyl record.
Yes.
This was 3 years ago, and somebody, I think it was my buddy Brendan Hesse, tagged me on Twitter. Was just like, "You're never gonna believe this," and I ordered that shit stat. One of my favorite vinyl records in my collection, because that is a soundtrack that never should have gotten a vinyl record release this late in the game, because no one knows that game exists.
Yeah.
So never say never. We could get a vinyl of Digimon World. We just gotta let them know we want it.
Pretty much. I mean, look, I have learned that anything in the world of gaming is possible. I mean, the fact that we have the ability to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on modern consoles. It's like, you know. Exactly. Actually, I have that one. I just haven't put it together yet. But I mean, like, I still got my Dreamcast copy of MVC2.
Mm-hmm.
I literally... on PS3, I never got it on 360, which I regret never getting.
Yeah,
not that I can play online with that anyway now, but like PS3, I played so much MVC2, and it was just stuck there for over a decade. And all of a sudden, that Nintendo Direct, like, there's reaction of me, like, literally, like, my spirit's leaving my body when I saw that. Like, I let out the biggest Homer Simpson scream. And I just couldn't. So, like, in my opinion, like, Capcom's literally got things like, Okami's coming back.
Yeah.
Onimusha's coming back in a big way.
It's
just gaming in this day and age. I think some companies are understanding it's like, yeah, shit, people like this. Let's do it because people like it, not because we're worried about a profit.
That was me with, like, because there was a Nintendo Direct where they announced the remakes of Klonoa.
Yep.
And I exploded. And they released that shit, I kid you not, on my birthday. It felt very special. It was it's like that, and like like you were saying, like the Capcom fighting collections and stuff, because Capcom's getting good about that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we can't get a new Dino Crisis, but they still made sure we can buy the original on our PS5. So, you know,
I mean, I think, thank you, GOG for doing that and everything. Good old GOG looking out for us and making all those games possible again. So, I mean, they did it with Breath of Fire 4. So 4. So I assume that'll probably be on PS5 at some point. But, you just really look at, like, those old classics for a reason. I mean, like, much like I always akin music to Resident Evil, because, like, music has sold Resident Evil, especially in those early years, so much that I think the soundtrack to RE2 is everywhere you go and that music changes, it's perfect for where you're supposed to be. And I felt that Digimon World was the same way. I don't think there was a bad track in there that I really disliked.
It captures these environments in such a great way. It's funny. I remember reading somewhere that the original intent was for this game to tie into the upcoming anime. And I think at some point or another during development, they sort of diverge from each other. But you do see a lot of crossover there. Factorial Town is in the anime, and it's in the game. Toy Town is in both. And so you see a lot of, like, there was definitely a shared vision to a limited degree, where it was like, hey, here's the digital world. Hey, here's some places where things will exist, and here's how these sort of things will connect. But for all intents and purposes, like, this was the game, and I think this is why it stood out to me and why I wanted to talk about it in a video so much, was this was the completely untethered, completely, like, fresh canvas of what the Digimon universe was. Like I said earlier, there wasn't a rule book yet, and this was about as pure a vision of what Digimon as a franchise was, and what the world that it takes place in could be. And so much has stemmed from this. I don't want to say too much, it's too fresh, but there was something from a side mission in Time Stranger where I think it might be a little bit of a stretch, but there's a part of me that is thinking that this one thing from this one side mission was a very clever nod towards Digimon World 1. And I was just like, oh, that's cool that they would do that. You had to connect a couple of pieces together to get there, but and so in my brain, I'm just like, maybe I'm reaching, but in my head, I'm just like, I think that was a reference.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, Digimon World in that aspect, like, just like I'm glad that they acknowledge the older games, because some companies don't do that as much, and
sure,
and I really appreciate that. I mean, and again, the game was so unique. I mean, okay, let's talk about the thing. I lost my mind. Oh, first off, I'll ask you, how did you feel knowing that the end of the game was right by the meat farm the whole time?
That's my favorite thing in the world. That is my favorite thing in the world. I love when video games do that shit. I remember I was back in the day aspiring. I used to have dreams, damn it. I wanted to make video games, and I think I got started by just like kind of creating adventure maps in Minecraft.
Yep.
And I remember like building a house that you like started off in, and then I built like a secret area inside the house that took you down to a sewer system under it, where like the most powerful sword was going to be.
Yeah.
And that like you get further in, and it eventually directs you back to like having this answer that's like right under your feet. And I don't know what set that in my brain. I can't point to you like a perfect example of like what started that in my head and like why I love that trope, or even anything else that uses that. But in my head, that's classic. You know what I mean? That's like just having like this great power like run under your nose, or just having the conclusion like right there the entire time. And it's like, it's cool when games do it nowadays, where it's just like Tears of the Kingdom is just like, hey, like the planet's been uprooted. There's a city from the sky coming down from the ground. You can go down to the cavern and get your ass kicked by Ganondorf anytime you like, but you should do some other things first. It's different when it's just like, hey, by the way, you might not have realized it, but yeah, the door to the final area was right here the whole time. I know what it was. It was Kingdom Hearts, of course. As Kingdom Hearts like has I think is just like the door there at the beginning. It's baiting you with it from the start, and then like you get to the end, and it's just like, yeah, it kind of comes full circle.
Yep.
Sorry, long-winded answer. I loved it. I thought that was great.
No, it's great. Like I wanted, because like my reaction was different. Because like I said, I never beat the game. My buddy Randall is like the RPG guy in our friend group, right? Always has been. He's the guy that could. This dude was getting like the gold chocobo in Final Fantasy VII, like that.
Yeah.
This is the motherfucker that filled up the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X. Like I went over to his house one day. He's like, "Dude, look what I did over the weekend," and stuff like that. And I remember he was sick, so he had gotten a couple days off of school. And I went over, and I'm like, the whole thing's filled up. And I'm like, what the fuck? So like, he was serious about this shit,
Yeah.
Same with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like him and I used to come up with strategies all the time, and he's much like me, he's a massive fan of Final Fantasy Tactics. He conquered that game. So when I went to his house, and he's like, dude, I got to the last area of the game, and I was like, oh shit, really? He's like, yeah, let me show you where it is. And I was like, okay. Hey, back to the beginning of the game to save here? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. We go out of the house, and he's going up, and I'm just like, wait, what are you doing? I'm thinking, he's going to get some meat. Okay, yeah, he's going to go get meat. Whatever. Okay, whatever. That works. And then he's like, here it is. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's right in here. And he goes and I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? That is where the ending of the game is. He's like, dude, isn't that awesome? And I'm like, that's bullshit, dude. We literally went around this entire island recruiting everybody, and I'm thinking, okay, I bet like we get all the Digimon and they build something to help us get to where the final boss is. No, it's a tiny. We literally could have swam over that.
Yeah.
I was, that is one of like my favorite moments in gaming, is my freak out of that, because I just did not expect that. You think, because like again, watching the anime, and you think, okay, yeah, it's gonna be a top in Mount Infinity or whatever, Infinity Mountain, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have to get up there somehow. We're probably gonna have to do some things that allow us to crawl up there at one point. No, it's literally, I mean, granted, you can't ever go to it,
Sure.
but the fact that it was right there the whole time, and it's just like, Digimon, why didn't you tell me this? Did you know about this, motherfucker? Like, that to me is like one of my favorite moments from that game, is just discovering that. Because again, I'm just like, how is this real right now? This game is trolling. Like, it was trolling before trolling was a thing.
I think one of my favorite moments from the game, and it was just sort of like, again, it was just one of those brilliant, obtuse things that the game just got away with. I kicked myself a little bit because I don't think I brought this up in the video. You're in like the desert area, and there's like the collapsing floors and everything. I had a Bergermon at the time, so he helped fly me down after the floor collapsed. And it dawned on me that if I didn't have a flying Digimon, that it probably would have played out different. And I'm just like, it's the little things like that. It's such a personalized adventure.
Yeah.
That's one of those like just the light bulb in your head, like, wow, really? It's like early on, like finding like a Digimon that'll like eat away at the foliage that's blocking different parts of the city. Recruiting people in and just seeing the city start to develop. It was your journey, and it was also just like you being a part of the journey of all of these other Digimon here. It was you. That's it. I think that was the thing. It was that it was you, and it was about you, but it wasn't just about you.
Yeah.
And part of what makes it special is that you were a part of something bigger. You ever played Dragon Quest V?
I've literally only played, I think, like the Dragon Warrior games on the NES.
Okay, well, attaboy. I love Dragon Warrior 1 because I hate myself. But Dragon Quest V is very much a story about like there's so much good in the world that you can do, and the best thing that you can do in your life is to be part of somebody else's. And that was what Digimon World was. And I think that was another thing. Another thing, like my friends getting into Digimon now, the thing that keeps throwing people off is that they start talking. And they're like, huh? Because they haven't seen the show. They haven't played the games before. This is when a lot of people are entering this franchise for the first time, and they don't know what to expect. They expect Pokemon. This is not Pokemon. It's a lot more, if anything, like, since, I want to say, like, Cyber Sleuth, the games have had a lot more in common with, like, Shin Megami Tensei.
This is true.
Yeah. And I would say even more so, like, because some people say Persona, and I get what they mean by that, but I would say in terms of, like, how the monster mechanics are handled, I would say closer to Shin Megami Tensei. And I do see some fans, I've seen some fans kind of bring up some complaints with how like the story games have progressed and how it doesn't feel like it captures Digimon well enough for them. And I disagree. Like for me, it doesn't affect me that way. I think like the way that you handle Digivolution, de-Digivolution, and how you handle everything through stats and through training is very Digimon.
Yes.
And
very.
Yeah. Obviously, there's some crossover. It's going to bleed over with how the mechanics of other games work to a degree. But I think back to, like, I'm putting Digimon on the Digifarm, and I'm just, like, maxing out this one stat. I only do that with Digimon. I did that in Digimon World 1, forcing my little baby under a waterfall to get crushed under the waves of a water pressure it can't handle. All so that it can turn into the perfect little killing machine. So... that is Digimon to me, and I think another one of my favorite things about it too is I was telling my friend, is just like the great thing about this, and the great thing about how mid-maxing stats and everything works is that, like, hey, you can grow really powerful with this, And then you can go back and you'll have a more powerful version of what you had before. If you really love the cute Digimon and those are the guys that you want to roll with, as long as you're comfortable with going with like the higher formed versions for a little while, you can go back down and you can make those little guys viable. Like, it's very freeform. It's very in your hands.
Yeah.
That's just a freeform nature I feel like you don't get from a lot of other monster collecting games.
I feel you're right about that in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the strength of Digimon World and part of what makes it so memorable and part of what makes it special is that there is a lot of it that is out of your control until you learn how to control it. I see Majora's Mask in a very similar way. I think people are intimidated at first by the time limit.
And I know I was.
Yeah. I hated that game the first time I played it. Fun fact, that is my favorite video game of all time now.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly. Although it's got competition now. Because Skies of Arcadia is really trying to dethrone that for me. And it might have done it.
Rightfully so.
Discussion for a different day, but that is the next video I'm working on. But Majora's Mask, you have 3 days before the world ends, and you've got to get a bunch of stuff done, right?
Yeah.
The game doesn't expect you to do it within 1 3-day cycle.
No.
But the threat is there, and I think that scares people. And then you learn, oh, I'm going through this again, but everybody's going through the same cycle. Oh, I can learn a song that slows time down a bit. Oh, I can reset whenever I want and start over. Oh, I can cheat and win the lottery. Stuff like that. As you start putting the pieces together, you learn that all of the things that intimidated you and all of the things that are there to threaten you and all of the things that are there to inconvenience you, once you learn how they work, they actually put you in complete control over the world that you're in ways that other games don't allow you to. And I think Digimon World is in a very similar scenario with that. Everything that just feels like it's an inconvenience, everything that feels like it doesn't work as a video game, is, as long as you are willing to contend with what it is, and as long as you are willing to contend with the rules that it is breaking, it gives you the power to control the world that you're in, or to be an important part of it in a way that other games can't, because they're giving you too much control from the start.
A lot of hand holding, I guess, is a good way to put it. I think they do that a lot in this day and age because they want people to buy their games. Because we also live in a world where people will be online complaining in 5 seconds about a game that they don't understand and saying it's a terrible game, and then that could catch fire, or if it's some popular YouTuber or streamer, that could damage the sales of the game. So I think that's why it's games like Digimon World are really hard to produce in this day and age.
And it's nowadays, the teams are so large, and they're just one cog in a giant mechanism of different studios and everything that are all often splinter sections of different companies, sometimes spread across the world. And it's just I try not to be the guy that's just defending the billionaire corporation, but it's just as somebody that's been working management for 5 years, is sometimes, a lot of the times, it's people just being assholes, and it's people just being money hungry and just not giving a shit. But I can also understand it's just when you're at the head of a team, of a development studio, when you're just hey, we have such and such a time. The powers that be are giving us this much money, this much time to work with to get this done. We have a lot of decisions to make. We can't create something with the sole intent of maybe one guy finding out this exists in 5 years. Unless you're Toby Fox.
Yeah.
In which case someone will figure out it exists tomorrow. But it's there's a less chance for risk because there's more people being affected by there's like 500 games coming out every week now. Everything's vying
Very
for
true,
attention. And you can't. It's a shame, but it's hard to blame a lot of studios for being like, we can't let anybody fall off. We can't let attention fall off of this. We have to like grab you, and we have to keep a hold of you. Sometimes something will come along and it just gets away with shit, like Dark Souls, and that whole franchise has stemmed off into something. But you also got to remember, it didn't do that overnight. It didn't immediately succeed with Dark Souls. It didn't immediately succeed with Demon Souls. It didn't immediately succeed with Kingsfield. You know what I mean? This thing, it was like it had to build up, and it just had that perfect like lightning in a bottle moment where it just worked. And I think Digimon is kind of experiencing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're honest with ourselves, something like Digimon Story is always going to sell better. It's always going to latch on to the players better than something like Digimon World's Next Order. Has a lot of refinements, and it has a lot of quality of life changes that I think are easier for modern gamers to pick up on. But that game's never going to do as well as Digimon Story.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, it's nice just to see these games getting like a second chance, because I mean, the thing that I've always heard for years is Pokemon made the better games, but Digimon had the better show. And in ways, I agree on that. You know, I truly do believe that they had that back in the day. I mean, like I said, I still did love, you know, Digimon World 2, because, you know, back in the day it's like what you had. But then as I got older and I went back to play that, like probably about around, I think, like 2010. And I probably put about like maybe over 20 hours into it, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, these load times are killing me. You don't know it when you're a kid, but I can't do it anymore. I can't wait for them to keep attacking. I mean, through emulation, you could just hit the tab button and speed it up, but that gets annoying after a while.
You know what was funny? I did my video on Digimon Worlds 2. And I mentioned at one point, because I was playing it on a PS3, because I was like, it's still close to original, like original intent. I still don't get shortcuts with that, but it was an easier way to capture footage.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mentioned it was just like there were weird moments of slowdown throughout that, and like sometimes the loading just took a long time. And somebody popped into the comments and they were just like, "Hey, I hate to be the guy that told you this, but it's because you're playing it on a PS3." Because there's a hiccup with the emulation on that causes that slowdown. If you pop that in a PS2 Slim with like disc read speed, you don't have that problem. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It was just like, I got that comment. So like after I had been working on this for like half a year, I popped it into my PS2 Slim, and I posted a picture of it online, and I was just like, I despise Digimon.
No, I mean, like, yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. As great as the PS3 was, and I mean, I think it's. Oh shit! Wait, it's actually next year. Is next year? I think next year's the year it turns. I think it's the 20th anniversary of the PS3 next year. Yeah, I think the Wii and the PS3 turn 20 next year.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know, right? Where's the fucking time go? But like, you know, I remember when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3 and I popped the disc in and everything, you know, I was super happy and everything because, you know, well, I mean, technically I was using a CRT for my PS3 at the time.
Yeah.
And the slowdown on that was fucking real. Like Snake trying to use a torch and tumble through the caves to get to the pain fight or everything. And oh my God, so much of that game was a slowdown slog. And it was not running good. I was just like, God damn, I'm going back to the PS2.
I think one of the things that made me the saddest, because I have a working backwards compatible PS3, which is cool, but I remember being really sad because I was trying to play one of the most perfect games ever coded on it, Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast, and only to find out that there's a bug on the American version of the PS3, where the PS2 version of that does not load the cars in when you go to your vehicle selection, so you can run the game, but you can't play it.
That sucks. I had no idea about that.
Outrun's one of the only games I can think of that does that, but also, again, it's one of the worst games that could have that fate because that's one of the best games ever made. That makes me mad.
I mean, PS3 did do a lot of interesting things, that's for sure, but it did have a lot of issues with its development. But I mean, kudos for them for allowing us to play like 2 generational games on a new console. I mean,
yeah,
you don't see that anymore, do you? PlayStation 5 talking to you there.
Yeah. And it's just like I get it. I get why. It's like trying to get a PS3 games to run on anything anymore. Trying to get some PS3 games to run on a PS3 was a hassle some of the time. I mean, you ever try to play that port of Bayonetta? Jesus. But,
believe me, I have played my witch wife on that, and it is, that's actually how I first experienced her. I didn't do it on the 360, and then when I realized something was wrong, my buddy was like, dude, you play the PS3 version. I'm like, wait, is the 360 version better? He's like, I'll let you borrow it. I'll bring it over. And like, he let me borrow it, and I'm like, I texted him like an hour later. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is so much better.
Hey, in fairness, it's one of the best PowerPoint presentations you'll ever see.
That is very true. That is very true. Actually, it's funny enough to mention that. You can't really see it, but I got a Bayonetta statue like right up here. It's like it's a third-party one, but like it was better because it's not licensed, so it's not going to cost $700. I mean, this thing cost me like $200, I think.
I got myself into the sinkhole with like First Four Figures has been doing a run of statues off Skies of Arcadia, and those guys are like, that's
First
gorgeous.
4 Figures, baby.
Well, yeah, that's like let's see, I've got my Ica.
Yes.
I've got my girl Ica. I'm getting the deluxe editions of all of them. So she's got the swap out like boomerang that's got like the lambda burst effect on it.
That's the one that's the one like where they give you the extra stuff. Because I have that because I got the Mega Man X4 statue of X and Zero from X4, the black armored one and the red armored Mega Man. Yes.
And I've got a girl Fina and Cupid lights up. There's like all the different moonstone colors.
There you go.
And they're finally doing Vi's, but these things are like 400, 500 a pop. And so
thank God for payment plans.
Yes, these are all going on payment plans. I mean, the girls are paid off. They have been, but like that Vi's, I need my boy to to fill it out. I wish like we would get more like. Have you seen the Ichiban show like Digimon statues?
I have, yeah.
Jesus, I've got Gallantmon, I've got Black War Greymon, I've got my boy Imperial Dramon.
Oh hell yeah.
And they're doing a run now where they're doing like Omnimon, Diaboromon, and Imperial Dramon Paladin mode. So
that's gonna be good. I've limited myself from buying statues because the only things I'm paying off right now is a Marissa statue from Street Fighter 6.
Nice.
It's a Prime 1 figure, and they're pricey, but that's almost paid off. And then I'm paying off the first 4 figures Dante figure for DMC3, and it's like the really dope looking one too, where I think he's got like the 3-section nunchuck and all that stuff that he gets from the Cerberus. So. But other than that, I've scaled back a lot on figure collecting, mainly because I'm running out of room. So I really only collect things that if I truly love that character. It's not even just about loving the series. I have to love the character.
Yeah, that's me with like I gave up trying to collect all the amiibo a while ago.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got those all lined up over there and on my wall over here and stuff. And then after we saw like they want $50 for the Kirby amiibo now. I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah, I think I got rid of a bunch of them, and I whittled myself down to 3 series I will collect amiibo for. I love Zelda to death, but there are too many of those, so I've written those off. I'm not collecting Zelda amiibo. Metroid. I've got all of those in box and loose.
Nice.
Shovel Knight.
Hell yes!
Which I've got almost all of those because Shovel Knight's the perfect little boy. I love it. I love that guy. And Xenoblade Chronicles is the other big one for me.
I mean, how much? I mean, you don't get that much merch for Xenoblade, unfortunately, so you got to take it where you get it.
Yeah, don't. That I adore that series to pieces. And I think my major disappointment at like the recent State of Play was I think it was Nintendo Direct's State of Play. There was some shit. Not to give too much away, but like the Switch port of Xenoblade X that came out earlier this year. Everybody, I've seen a lot of reactions to the new chapter that was added to that. Because it's like the answers after like 10 years of that game being out. And a lot of it's negative. I think all of those people are wrong. I thought it was great. But more than that, it also was just like, in some incredibly blatant ways, it was the director just being like, "Hey, so do you remember Xenogears?" And I'm just like, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm waiting for like, what the hell does he have planned? Because he is clearly, that chapter was very, hey, I'm doing something Xenogears related, and I haven't. I was kind of expecting we were going to see like, oh, a new port of Xenogears or something, so people can play that for half the game and then take an exam for the second half again. So I have got us completely off topic.
No, that's fine. Like I said, it happens here, man. But no, ultimately, like Digimon World 1 is just one of those. I don't know if I'd call it a hidden gem, but I would definitely say I would put it on a top 10 list of PS1 games you have to play just because of how different it is. I mean, we talked about it. It's literally this grand adventure. You're not just fighting guys. You're working at a store. You're recruiting people to work in your city. You're trying to like save people. You're trying to get everybody unhypnotized. You're trying to figure out the mysteries of the island. You're going and talking to a tree in the woods about stuff and everything, then you go to a giant pile, like you go to the junkyard with all the Sukamon are and everything, and you train in a giant pile of shit. It's just, there's so much that this game has to offer, and I think that's why, even if like people listen to this podcast and they go and watch your video, which you guys should go over to his channel and subscribe, but it's one of those things that you truly do have to experience for yourself, because like you said, it's all trial and error, just like the Keychain game originally was. And you create this bond with the strong level, you get them up to ultimate, they pass away, but a piece of them still goes to that next Digimon. And that is the beauty of this game, is that you won't be bored. You might get frustrated, but you want to uncover the mysteries and you want to figure out where things happen at what times. And I think that's truly the greatest gift of this game and why people really need to play it. I really need to make a top 10 video on a game like that to play, that's for sure.
And I think another aspect of it too was just like, it's something that I'm sure frustrated a lot of kids back in the day, was not having direct control over your Digimon during battles.
Oh yeah, I will say that's the thing that I kind of didn't enjoy back then. I mean, I was just like, right, it's like it just reminds me of that old Team 4-Star thing where the teachers like hitting Gohan with the whip. And he's like, learn. Why aren't you learning? Learn!
Dodge!
That's literally all that comes into my head when I think of that now, because you're literally just there at the blackboard. It's like, I have to poop. Learn!
And it's one of those things that's just like so off-putting at first.
Yeah.
But it's just like, once you learn how to like actually work with that, I think it lends to such a unique aspect of the game where you're forming a partnership. And it's you, like, you're getting out of your Digimon what you put into it. How you train it is going to best dictate how it's going to perform in those battles, which, I mean, is exactly how it worked on the V-Pads.
Yeah.
You trained them, you connected them, and then, like, what happened from there was a result of your training. And luck. Let's be honest. But, with like Digimon World, it was very much that too, where it's the specific stats, the resistances, the intelligence, they would learn new moves around that, and it would change like how they perform during battles. So it was like you don't have control, but that's part of the point because, again, the story's about you, but not just you. It's about your Digimon partner. And that's one of the aspects. Well, I'll give some people some credit where they're talking about like where the more traditional JRPG aspect loses a little bit of what that original identity was. I get that to a degree.
Yeah.
Whereas like there is a unique element there, but that's why I'm happy to be like, I think there's room for both. I think we can have our Digimon story games, but for the love of God, never stop making Digimon World. I do think that there are aspects of the original title I would like to see come back to some degree, and I do think that having that more intimate relationship with the game, zoom in a little bit, give us that atmosphere. It's again, David Wise is such a good comparison. Like the soundtrack just puts you in that environment.
It's true. It really does. I mean, like you could play a game and the soundtrack's like, yeah, that's a banging soundtrack. That's pretty good. Yeah. But one that like keeps you in. Again, like I said, Resident Evil always had that in its early years. You know, I mean, you can play games. I mean, we know games have memorable soundtracks. Like you think of like TMNT in Time has like one of the best soundtracks out there for a beat 'em up. It's absolutely amazing and stuff. But when a game can put you there and make you really think, and it's the music that's doing it and nothing else at that point, you're just like, wow, yeah. The music's bringing me into this. And then you start discovering through battle and talking and helping people. And it's all there. It's all one giant cog that's working to make this gear move. And it makes the machine run. And that's what I think is so great about this game, is that it does it so well that, again, there's really nothing else like it. Digimon World 2 takes some things, but that is a little bit more traditional RPG. You know, three Digimon, traditional like turn-based battle and everything like that. But this one just does it on a level that is unmatched. And I kind of wish other games did it. I mean, I feel like maybe Monster Rancher did it. Because I loved playing Monster Rancher 2 with some friends. Actually, when my buddy Josh, like I said, he grew up across the street from me. His family, they've been renting that house for almost 40 years. Landlord passed away. So, the family unfortunately got the boot because the wife wanted to sell the houses that she owed now that, her husband's gone. So when he was moving, he gave me a copy of Monster Rancher 2 that was his. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, like this is yours, dude. Like I want you to have this. And I was like, because we put so much hours into that, and you really couldn't control the monsters that much. You had to like move that thing back and forth and try to match it up and press the attack and stuff. So, that's kind of a similar thing. But Digimon World is its just own thing, and I really wish we did get more games like that during that era.
Did you ever play the later Digimon World games, like the one on the PSP?
I did not. I did not get to play that.
So it's like I think that one's a great example of everything the PS1 game did right, because there's a lot that the PSP one missed. The PSP one is an interesting game though. Like it shouldn't be totally written off. There's a lot that's owed to that game. And it got a later remake on the 3DS with some added content, which there's a great fan translation out there for that. It's easy to get if you know how to do things with your 3DS. But it does kind of like encapsulate like, hey, there was some stuff missing here. Like one of the things is like on the PSP game, you boot that up and it's very much like I think what that was supposed to be was essentially a reimagining of the original game. So not a remake per se, but sort of like a retake on it.
I'm definitely gonna have to look that up.
But one of the things is just like you get to File City, and the idea is to go out and recruit Digimon and bring them back. The city is fully developed from the beginning of the game. And that misses so much of the point.
Yeah. Well, I guess that almost kind of feels like what they did with that DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, where it's just like, oh shit, we're going to DK Island. It's just a cheap, throwback that cost me $20. Like,
which I never paid the money for that, because like I adored Bonanza, and the last 2 hours of that game and what they do with it, I think is incredible. I haven't seen that since Twilight Princess.
Yep.
But
another good game.
Yeah.
Second favorite Zelda game of all time.
It's I love the way that was handled, and I just kind of want to my last experience with that game to be very positive. But
yeah, don't get the DLC. You ain't missing anything.
but like, yeah, the Digimon World redigitize on the PSP and everything, like those are interesting games, and it's especially cool when you go into Cyber Sleuth and they just straight up pull a character from the 3DS version of that game into it. Like, it maintains some relevance, which makes it all the funnier that that game never made it outside of Japan. But we did get Digimon World Next Order. Have you played that?
That one I haven't played like any of the new ones and everything.
Okay.
I really want to. I want to sit down one day and just do it. Everything. I really have to.
So Next Order is a lot closer to what the original experience was like.
That's what Latina Otaku was telling me.
It's got its own set of problems.
Yeah.
And I do think that like one of the core benefits is also one of its core drawbacks, and that's that you have 2 Digimon you can raise at a time now. Dear God, if you ever get those little suckers out of sync. But it's like it's such an interesting game. Like Next Order is very, very cool and 100% worth like playing, because it does. While I do not think it's a perfect translation of what the original PS1 game is. And I do have some very specific things that I think it just fails to capture. It is a much more faithful return to that formula, and it gives me the faith that like we can still do this.
Yeah.
I will say one of the things that you might be pleased to hear, like when you play Next Order, is you get to like you start up the game and everything, and you hear there's a Machine Dramon as like the tutorial essentially, and you fight him, and the boss music starts playing, and it's his boss music from the PS1 game.
Yeah.
You get to File Island, or you get to File City, and the daytime theme starts playing, and it's the File City theme from the PS1 game. There's a lot of music that carries over from the PS1 game over. I do like the new mixes a lot. There's a super jazzy version of the File City theme that's so good. And the what they do with the night theme is beautiful. But I do think that it's missing a bit of the texture that the original version had. And a lot of that is like what we were talking about before, is having like the actual like animal noises, the sounds of the nature around it and everything being incorporated into the track itself is something that PS1 game did that is still unique to itself.
Right.
I would say one of the few composers that I can think of that still does stuff like that. Are you familiar with a game called Kana Bridge of Spirits?
I feel I've heard that name before, because that's kind of one of those names you don't really forget when you hear it.
Please play it. It was released, I think, within the first year of the PS5's lifespan, and I still think it's one of the. Yeah, I still think it's one of the best games on the console. It'll take you back to the N64 era of Zelda. It is more nature heavy, less temples, a little bit of puzzle, but I think like just in terms of movement and combat, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
But what was great was it was being worked on by a team that called Ember Lab, and they worked on some a gorgeous fan animation based off of Skull Kid and how he got Majora's Mask.
Right.
And which, again, highly recommend checking that out, too. And when you play Kana Bridge of Spirits, you can see the Majora's Mask inspiration. There's no time.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely check that out.
But, sorry, the music.
Yeah.
The music. He goes by Theophany, I think. And he did a couple of great concept albums that are called Time's End, that are recreations of the soundtrack from Majora's Mask. And he did the soundtrack for Kana, and he does that where he will incorporate sounds, nature, and everything.
I love it. I love it already.
He uses a lot of wind instruments too, which again, it's like, it's like we were talking about with older graphics and everything like that. I attribute it back to classic like stop motion filmmaking. I like seeing fingerprints. I like seeing, I like looking at something and telling somebody made it. And you get that from his soundtracks.
Yeah.
And it's you can hear it being played, if that makes any sense.
That's that kind of stuff I really enjoy. Like, again, I don't think a lot of people think of sound in music as much in gaming development, because it's all more heavily like focused on graphics, and a lot of soundtracks are just very Hollywood like. So you might have some good sounds and some good music, but it's not really sticking with you. It's helping the atmosphere you're in, but not as much as past video games have done.
And sometimes it's beyond melody. Sometimes it's performance. And I think that Digimon World 1 just has that. It's does. Like, it's got memorable melodies for sure, but like there is but again, it's everything about this game just wants you to feel like you are being whisked away into the digital world, and that this is a place that you are just in.
And that's what we want from our games. We kind of want to live in those worlds, and I don't think we get that. But again, that's why I want people to go play this game, because you can be in that world. But I think we're actually good to wrap this up right now. Actually, we got 2 hours out of this, which is great.
We sure did.
This is perfect. Yeah. So dude, like, do you have any other upcoming videos that you want to plug or anything like that, or anything that you want to like surprise people with, or do you keep that a secret?
Well, I mentioned it before. I mentioned it earlier. I might have like 1 or 2 other like smaller videos coming out sometime, just based off of like, there's like one game where, hey, if I get a review code for it, I would love to do a video about it just because it looks like fun.
Yeah.
But in terms of like my main line, like my actual retrospective stuff, I'm planning on doing the DS era of Digimon stuff next year.
Nice.
So, you know, Digimon World, DS, Dusk and Dawn, although whether or not I'm going to handle those in one video or 2 separate ones, I'm not entirely sure yet. But I'm kind of leaning towards one. And at least Data Squad. Like, we'll get that in there. As for this year, the stuff I'm working on is, I'm actively working on a retrospective of Skies of Arcadia. Celebrating the 25th anniversary of that game, so I would to try to get that out this year. And I'm reviewing both versions. I'm reviewing the Dreamcast and GameCube versions.
Okay.
Because I just can't leave well enough alone. And
I admire people who do that, who actually like will do like the ports or like other versions that are like exist elsewhere. Because I mean, my brain wouldn't be able to do that. My brain would be like, look, I just want to play this one and get it done. I'll just talk about the other games and stuff. If everybody wants to go see other videos, there's people who do more detailed stuff than I do.
Oh, brother, I'm getting stupid with this, because I'm just like, the thing that I always hear people talk about all the goddamn time is just like, one, the soundtrack is different between the 2 versions, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's better on the Dreamcast, whatever. But the encounter rate is the thing that people always bring up, and they're always just like, oh, they fixed the encounter rate on the GameCube version. It's so much lower on the GameCube version. I don't know if I believe them, so I am going through, and I have a physical notebook over here where I am jotting down every area that I travel through, and I am making a tally of every single random encounter that I run into, and I will cross-reference how many I actually experience in each version of the game in every single area.
Okay.
We're going hard for this one. But it's that and Snatcher. I'm going to try to do Snatcher later.
That's going to be dope. Like I said, so yeah, you guys can follow Wayne. I'll put all of his socials down below in the description and everything like that. So you guys make sure you go follow him and see it, because again, like, retrospectives are something that help pass the time, but they're always so informational, because some people like will say things that other people have not said yet. And plus everybody always has like their own cool take and story on how they either discovered a game or how they go about it. So definitely make sure to go support him on this. Dude, again, thank you for joining me today for this. Like, this was awesome. Thank you, man.
I super appreciate you having me on. This was a very easy discussion to have. So.
Hell yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you all for watching. And like I said, like and thumbs up, because it's free. In this day and age, free is a damn good thing. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. I'm One Big Boss, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care. Have a good one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Remember to give a thumbs up to this video, as it helps out big time, and don't forget to subscribe if you like videos like this one and video game reviews as well. Also, I stream almost daily, so if streaming games are your thing, definitely subscribe and join in on the fun, and consider becoming a member to help the channel grow, and you'll get your name in the credits here of my videos and other perks depending on the tier levels that you choose. That's it for today. Many thanks, guys, and until the next time, stay safe and have a good one.